.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. China boosted the tariff on U.S. goods to 125% and apparently has made no phone call to Washington to look for a way out of the escalating trade battle. CBS's Natalie Brand at the White House.
The president has signaled that he's open to talking, that he wants to make a deal. He even said that he has great respect for Chinese President Xi, but he said that he's still waiting for that call.
CBS's Weijia Jiang has more on some of the early impact on American businesses.
They're a boost for Matt Billings, who owns a metal manufacturing company that sources its supplies domestically and isn't subject to import tariffs.
We're more busy than we've ever been.
Billings says he can barely keep up with the demand.
We went to 7 days a week. We've added multiple shifts.
But for Sarah Wells, who owns a bag company targeted to new moms and imports tens of thousands of units from China a year, she's worried she may have to shut down her business.
Might as well be 1,000%. It's just insurmountable for small businesses. I mean, I can't do that. That exceeds the cost of the manufactured product.
In an hour, there's a court hearing about the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The Supreme Court says the administration has to work to get him returned. CBS's Scott McFarland.
The court has directed this lower court judge, Paula Sinis in Maryland, to come up with some clarification as to what the administration is to do to get Abrego Garcia out of that Salvadoran prison and back to the United States.
A small plane crashed this morning near the airport in Boca Raton, Florida, not far from a busy interstate. Witnesses reported the plane had trouble on takeoff and tried to return to land. Aviation expert William Shepard.
I-95 is right there. And so a left turn would have taken the plane very close to I-95, and you actually go over I-95 to come back to land. So that was what was underway when obviously something catastrophic happened and the plane went down.
The FAA is investigating a clipped wing incident involving two American Airlines regional jets at Washington's Reagan National Airport, scene of other incidents this year and the deadly collision over the Potomac River. New Jersey Democrat Josh Gottheimer was with a group of lawmakers on one of the planes.
How could this happen again at the same airport, let alone at any airport in the United States?
Health Secretary RFK Jr. says the government will undertake what he calls a massive testing and research effort to determine the cause of autism and finish work by September. Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 43 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A local school evacuated. Details coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Near JBLM, construction is blocking a lane on northbound I-5 at the Stillicum DuPont Road. You're backed up from the DuPont Gate almost to the Nisqually Cutoff Road. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is about 40 minutes, 10 longer than usual. Other than that, not a lot of problems out there. Travel time Everett to Bellevue, 27 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 27. Renton to Bellevue, 24. Traffic brought to you by Harnish Auto. Over 40 years, the Harnish Auto family has built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. HarnishAutoFamily.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Students and staff at Lake Washington High School have been evacuated. A parent sent KIRO News Radio an email from the school district saying all students arriving on campus are going to the football field. The school says it'll give us an update soon. Tense moments near the University of Washington this morning when a bullet ripped through the window of a sorority. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports, according to police, the suspects started shooting at a man who stopped them from car prowling.
Just one block off UW's campus, police say the victim confronted the prowlers. There was a fight, and that's when police say one of the suspects pulled out a gun, aimed it at the victim, but the gun jammed. Police say the suspects took off in their own car, but circled the block and fired multiple shots. Investigators say one of those bullets hit a second-story window of that sorority house. Nobody was injured. No arrests so far. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Everett police are ramping up patrols on Evergreen Way, where they say one man attacked workers at two separate bikini baristas. Police tell KIRO 7 TV they're also passing out the suspect's photo to coffee shops.
The communication that we can have among each other is what is going to help us catch this person and prevent further attacks.
We've put a photo of the suspect at mynorthwest.com. We've also posted a photo of a domestic violence suspect that Kent police believe died in a fire, but may actually still be alive. This witness telling KIRO 7 TV.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie or of a television show.
Kent police chased 51-year-old Avon Cobb on Tuesday to a business in Auburn where negotiators tried to get him to surrender, and then the building caught fire. Officers now say there's no evidence he died there. If you rely on Sound Transit Light Rail, get ready to share space with about 150,000 people expected to visit Seattle for FIFA Club World Cup soccer matches. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports.
Some passengers saying this ridership increase will be a bit of a challenge.
I definitely will plan ahead and maybe use an alternate means of getting to work.
Others are looking forward to the visitors.
I think it can be a great opportunity for us to really get to know our world a little bit better by being exposed to people coming in from different parts of the world.
Transit officials say they're excited for people to use the light rail as their main transportation while here for such big events.
6 games will take place between June 14th and July 13th. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It's 46 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Fresh Fridays.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. You know what day it is. It is my birthday. Good morning, Ursula. It's
Happy
Fresh
birthday,
Fridays.
Crown. Thank you to Alice.
Oh, Alice has me
Chef's
set
daughter.
to go. Alice told me and to wear this for my birthday, and it was the most precious video, Alice. So, Alice, I want to say to you, thank you so much. I love my crown. I'm wearing it in honor of you, Alice.
The pink
is
just perfect
No
for you.
doubt.
It is perfect.
Happy Friday, April 11th. 49 times around the sun, to which someone at the dance class the other day, Ursula, they saw me and said, oh, gee, you look younger than you sound. Like, I thought you were older. I'm like, oh, okay, I appreciate it. So
That's just for the show.
Yeah. Good morning, Ursula. Hey, and thank
Good
you.
morning.
I just want to say, Ursula and Chef and Sophia, Nick, thank you for being here today. And my happy birthday balloon that Ursula has right here. Ursula brought in a chocolate cake, knowing that chocolate is my right? Chocolate's my favorite.
If you were eating, anyway, we know that I would have brought you a steak breakfast, but I know that you are planning to have
I'm going to go to the
meal at the Mariners game.
Mariners game for my birthday, Ursula. All right. Do we got a packed show on my birthday?
We have a super packed show, a special edition of a Fresh Friday show, because we got a lot of news to get into.
Okay.
I mean, there is something so disturbing in the news today involving Seattle City Light and some of the things that have been going on with many of their frontline workers. And I just want to know, like, how could something like this be happening at this time and they think that they're going to get away with it? So you've got to listen to the details because we're going to get into some of them. And I think more heads need to roll over this one.
Okay.
888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. As always, we invite you to join us on our text line. And if you have any happy birthday messages, we'll make sure that we share them with G.
All right, let's get to Ursula's top stories of the day, brought to you by Bath Fitter, Northwest.
Rent control is a big step closer to reality in our state, but a bill that has passed both houses in Olympia would put the cap at 10% instead of 7%. That change was sponsored by Democratic Senator Sharon Shoemake, who says after looking at economic studies, she believes a 7% cap would be dangerous. Senator Yasmin Trudeau says the bill would still allow landlords to set their rent at whatever they want, but they won't be able to jack up the price from month to month.
This bill is really about ensuring that people stay housed and that they have predictability in what they pay.
Republicans in Olympia are against rent control. State Senator Chris Kilden says this is only going to create more housing issues.
There are developers who are diverting projects outside of Washington state and into other states, multi-100-unit plus apartment complexes that are not being built in our state and that have not been built in our state simply because of the existence of this bill.
And he points out,
nowhere on the face of Earth throughout human history has rent control ever succeeded, and it will not succeed here.
Ultimately, the increased cap passed by one vote. Senate lawmakers also voted to exempt single-family homes not owned by corporations or real estate development trusts. Now, if they agree on this final version and if it is signed by the governor, the proposal would go into effect immediately under an emergency clause. The Seattle Times reports the governor has not said whether he would sign this proposal.
I don't like caps on rent. I don't want it. I don't think that will benefit us. I don't think it will benefit those that are really in need. Here's the truth, Ursula. The truth is this is how it would go down. Okay, I have Luke Ducey living in my house, and so I have a cap on how much I can raise the rent. All right, soon as Luke Ducey is out of the house, I'm going to, and nobody's renting it, now my cost is going to be tougher to get into. You see what I'm saying? Okay, Ursula, you want to rent my place now? I used to only ask for just first month, and I was a little lenient. Now I am strict. Now I am first, last, deposit. I want all of that. And, oh, by the way, the rent now that I used to charge Luke Ducey, I'm going up even more on that. So if you get into my place, I'm going to make it extremely hard. Why am I going to make it hard? I'm going to make it hard because right now in the state of Washington, they have made it so easy for people to squat into your home. They have made it so easy for people renting, not paying their rent. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. So our tax dollars give them money to fight against the landlord. So unfortunately, I am being seen the other side. Mm-hmm. I have been seeing the side where renters are taking advantage of them. And I would love to sit here and tell you guys that these landlords are doing this and they're awful and all that. And there are some. But I'm telling you, I know more stories of the renters not holding up to their end of the bargain.
Well, and so I happen to lean the same way you do in terms of I think this could create more problems. But I also have to recognize, and I think we also have to recognize that there are a lot of people who are really hurting. I totally agree with you that there were a lot of people who took advantage during the
rent
pandemic.
moratoriums and all that stuff.
And I think that those who were taking advantage ended up hurting others who really need the help.
Come on.
So, what we have found out is that landlords have filed more than 800 eviction cases a month so far this year on average. That's a 30% increase from last year's rate, and that is more than double the 2019 pre-pandemic average rate of 385 eviction cases per month. So you can look at that and say, man, there are a lot of landlords who are jerks. They're just evicting people. Or are these people who are saying, wait a minute, I haven't been paid now, and I've got to do something. I've got to evict them. I mean, so there is definitely, and I think both can be true.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a lot of people who are getting messed up, and we see them on our text line saying, my rent just went up by $500 a month. I can't afford it. And my heart goes out to that. That's, if it from month to month it goes up by $500, yeah, you are pushing a lot of people out.
You got one time to get the wrong renter in your crib. You got one time to get it wrong. If you get it wrong, and that person says, you know what, I'm not paying rent. You know what, I'm going to stay in this home. And you know what, you're going to have to fork out and pay that mortgage. And I know that there are people that will say, well, but the value of your home has gone up, so all you got to do is refi. Do you see the interest rates right now? Do you see that maybe that home is under a locked 3% interest rate, and now if they were to refi to go and get money, it would cost them that much more money? So I hate this. You know what?
Yeah, the one thing I will say that I appreciate that they looked at it and said, okay, let's make it a 10% cap instead of 7% cap. So
just one thing, though, G, like every time somebody squats in a home, that is a news story. It gets covered in the news.
No, it doesn't. Whoa.
My point is that the number of people who are squatting in houses or haven't paid rent is probably orders of magnitude smaller than the people who have their rent jacked up. Both happen. Both are true.
No.
Landlords get listened to a lot more.
No. I'm going to go ahead and shoot that down by telling you right now today, there are more people taking advantage and squatting than there are landlords taking advantage of those that are renting.
I'm not comfortable saying either of those things until I actually have the facts.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why? As a landlord, listen, I'm not talking about the big investors. I'm talking about those that maybe have 2 and 3 homes. As a landlord and someone in your place, renting your place, paying that mortgage, why do you want to mess with them? They are paying for your stuff. I'm telling you guys right now, I'll raise my hand. I probably rented more places than most people that's listening right now, and I can assure you, most of the time it was me that messed up.
Yeah, and I hear you, I see you, and we're all coming at it from our own experience and our own perspective. But I think there's also a reality that, I mean, we've talked about the software that allows people to say, oh, wait a minute, they're charging this. Well, I'm going to increase my prices because I can, and because that's what the market is saying. And so
price fixing,
price fixing, exactly. So I think that there has to be a way to address both issues, the housing or all of the issues. The lack of truly affordable housing, the number of people who are getting screwed over by landlords who are heartless and these corporations. So, and then the landlords who are getting screwed over by tenants who are taking advantage of all these things. I mean, all those things need to be addressed.
Okay.
So I think they're getting closer in the fact that they're saying, hey, let's not do 7%, let's do 10%. Mm-hmm. But I think that's still going to be enough for some people to go, I'm out.
Okay. Ursula, if I thought in my heart that this was a good idea to help people, I would say I'm all for it. The unfortunate part is this would do the opposite.
And that's my fear,
This would make it tougher for you. So that landlord has one time to have a bad squatter situation. There's damages to the home. There's time spent in the home. There's lawyer fees. And by the way, the person squatting in your home, their lawyer fees to fight you is paid by tax dollars.
Yep.
Right? So
in Seattle only.
So when this when this landlord comes out of that, some of these people are like, oh well, looks like you're out $65,000. I don't know. Anybody? Can anybody just be done with $65,000 like it's no big deal?
No.
So we demonize.
I hear you. I mean, I totally hear you. This is why I'm saying
we demonize the landlord, though. We're demonizing the people.
I don't. Yeah, I know.
I think people do. When people are demonizing them, like, oh well, you can lose $65,000.
No.
What?
Yeah, no.
What?
You can't. But that again, I think that. At least they're trying to get closer to. I'd be curious, though. I'm curious as to what the governor is going to do, and in terms of this. But 7% was way too small, and maybe 10% is still way too small. Being a racist is never okay, and if your racist actions are caught on video that ends up going viral, it could have some serious consequences. That is the case for a guy who allegedly harassed a woman in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more on this story that you're going to hear first here on the Gee and Ursula Show.
That's right. Crediting where credit is due as well. Gee and I have actually been working together on this. This is something on social media that's been getting a lot of play and a lot of attention. Gee shared it with me. I looked into it. So this is what's going on. This is a video that was uploaded to Instagram. And a quick warning, what you're about to hear is really raw. I mean, it's really shocking stuff. The woman shooting the video says, this happened in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood. In the video, it appears to be late at night. It shows a white man wearing a baseball cap and a hoodie walk past the victim. He is talking to the victim the whole time, and at one point here, he turns toward her, flips her off, and then he calls her the N-word.
Should look up before you.
Taking a video of you.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Go back to Tacoma, where you belong, you nigga.
Got a video.
And the video shows the man turn and walk away down a sidewalk. Now, engagement, like I said on this video on social media, is in the thousands right now. Several people actually identified the man and where he worked. I contacted that business, and I asked them for their reaction to the video, and I also asked them if they took any action against that alleged employee. The president of the company told me in an email, this is a quote, regarding your inquiry, meaning regarding the specific person in the video, this individual is no longer associated with our company. Now, we've seen a rash of alleged hate crimes in Seattle recently. 3 suspects were just charged with a hate crime attacking people outside of an LGBTQ bar in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. A man was just arrested after a violent attack on a transgender person in the U District. In King County, get this, the prosecuting attorney's office there tells me since 2018, they have filed 355 hate crime charges.
Ugh. Well, I'm glad that this person got what he had coming.
Shout out to the company in Fremont that fired this employee, because technically, Ursula, one of the things that Luke has been covering, he's been covering some of these hate crimes. Some of these things, and what that person did, it's not a crime. Like, that person cannot really get arrested for what he did on that video. So shout out to the company that got rid of him.
Thanks for bringing that to us. Okay, let's squeeze one more in. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy wants the company to operate like a startup, and he has his sights set on cutting down on middle managers, it seems. Earlier this year, he said Amazon would be reducing the number of managers during the first 3 months of 2025. The company asked each department to basically increase the ratio of individual contributors to managers by at least 15%. The Seattle Times reports he repeated that goal in his letter to shareholders this week, saying that he wants to focus on accountability and speed. He says he asked employees to give examples of bureaucracy that is getting in the way of their innovation. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he was flooded with nearly 1,000 complaints. And as it turns out, Amazon is not the only big company looking to become more lean and mean. In February, Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol also complained of too many layers of management, saying it made nobody accountable. And like Andy Jassy, he wants more contributors and employees who make decisions based on how it affect their livelihood. And my question to all of you listening right now and to you, G, is this a war on middle management? Do middle managers add any value or just take up space?
You know, I think there is a war on jobs. It doesn't matter what it is. We all know, we hear Doge being talked about, right? Because we're going to save you all of the tax money and all this stuff. Right now, Ursula, I think that there is a war on every job and making sure if you have any time, you got too much free time going to get coffee. You got too much free time doing this. You don't have enough work. You shouldn't be getting paid for 8 hours when you're really working 3 hours. So careful what you wish for, because here it comes. We are about to see a lot of cuts over the next few years because that's what you guys want, right? You guys want cuts. That's what you want. It's not just going to happen in city, county government. No.
Who's they? That's what you want.
The people that celebrate all the time, the people that celebrate veterans being cut, the people that celebrate federal workers being cut. Let's be real. If it happens at that level, it's coming to private. Be ready.
Okay, I want to come back to this because we're out of town at time and I hear the music. But this whole idea of middle management, though, I mean, so he's not saying let's cut. Well, they've already cut thousands of jobs at Amazon, 27,000 corporate employees in 2023 alone. They're also making a lot more investment in AI at the same time. And like I said, I mean, he said in his letter to shareholders, basically, we have too much middle management. We have too much bureaucracy, and a lot of the employees are agreeing. I want to come back to that whole idea of what makes a good manager.
Fair. I'll see you there, and I'll raise you something else I want to come back to. I also, when you coming up next, we go to that, and I also want to come back to. I figured something out. Like Chef said a second ago, don't you guys find it funny that in the city of Seattle, if you are a squatter and you squat, you will be able to have your lawyer fees paid by tax dollars. Here's what
Seattle is very unfriendly to landlords.
And I'm going to come back and tell you what I think the overall goal is. It's so crystal clear to me on what that is about in Seattle. So let's do both of those things.
Okay, sounds good.
Gee Ursula.
At KIRO Newsradio, our commitment goes beyond delivering the latest headlines.
Authorities say they've busted a violent drug trafficking ring in Seattle.
Mayor Bruce Harrell says this operation should go a long way toward putting a stop to crime in the CID.
We dive deep into the stories that matter, helping you understand the impact on your community and your life.
Even if you do get caught, you're going to probably get a small little smack on the hand.
You can have your opinions, I can have mine.
KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage expert. Steve, mortgage rates have been dropping this year. How could that help seniors struggling to stay in their homes?
Lower mortgage rates mean seniors can now get more money from their equity with a reverse mortgage. You can pay off your existing mortgage, have extra money to help with today's high cost of living, or believe it or not, you can even buy a home with a reverse mortgage. There are many uses, and best of all, you have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
You've seen the headlines. Budget crisis, government emergency, billions of dollars short. No, not the federal government. It's happening here in Washington state. State tax revenues are at record highs. Over the next 4 years, tax revenue is on pace to grow by $10 billion. But current spending will outpace that revenue growth by $12 billion. Want to learn more about the growth of state taxes and spending over the last decade? Visit budgetbreakdown.org.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're a-changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
and you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Carter Subaru wants to buy your car. Carter Subaru will buy your vehicle for top dollar, even if you're not in the market for a new one. And when you are ready to buy a new vehicle, your drive begins with savings at Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard.
Think about your home. Warm in the winter, cool in the summer. If any of these don't work, your quality of life is impacted. For a decade, I've trusted Home Comfort Alliance to fix and upgrade it all. Hi, John Curley here. Upgrade now with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates. And Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Call Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel, walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The city of Snoqualmie says it has fired its police chief following an investigation. Chief Brian Lynch was placed on administrative leave in February. Few details, but in a social media post, the city says it is, quote, committed to maintaining a workplace free from discrimination and harassment. A new report is out after a 2-year investigation into Seattle City Light, specifically the crews who maintain the city's underground electrical network. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao reports.
And I actually sifted through all 20 pages. Like I said, there's a lot, but I was able to break it down into 3 of the biggest complaints from employees who spoke out. And they mentioned drinking, misogyny, and pornography all on the job.
The problem spanned more than a decade. In response, the utility says it terminated 5 employees, suspended 7, has given 9 warnings, and has increased training for others. REI says it is sorry for endorsing Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior. Earlier this year, the Seattle-based retailer signed a letter of support for the former governor from North Dakota. In a video, though, posted to social media this week, company CEO Mary Beth Lawton says,
signing that letter was a mistake.
The actions that the administration has taken on public lands are completely at odds with the long-standing values of REI.
There are staffing shortages at the Forest Service, hiking trails have shut down, and the Department of Agriculture is allowing timber harvests on up to 59% of national forest land. China ups the ante in the trade war. The latest from CBS's Anna Coren.
China continues to be defiant in the face of even higher tariffs, describing U.S. actions as a joke, while raising the level of its own tariffs to 125%, effectively ending trade between the world's two largest economies.
This comes after President Trump raised U.S. tariffs against China to 145%. Kent-based Blue Origin will launch an all-female crew, including CBS's Gayle King, into space on Monday. King is already in Texas for the launch.
I'm looking forward to just floating in space and just seeing what that feels like and what that looks like. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to, that and looking out the window.
No doubt it's going to be quite the view. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 295 points, NASDAQ ahead 164. From the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk near JBLM, emergency pothole repair has the lane blocked on northbound I-5 at the Stillicum DuPont Road. You're backed up from the DuPont Gate past the Nisqually Cutoff Road now. Travel time, Olympia to Tacoma, is 50 minutes, 20 longer than usual. And you've got something going on I-405. Travel time Renton to Bellevue is 40 minutes, also about 20 minutes longer than typical. Travel time Everett to Seattle, 28 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 25, so pretty normal there. Traffic brought to you by AAA. If the wind is blowing, AAA Washington will help keep you going. To become a member, visit AAAWashington.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It's 47 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy birthday to G. 49 big years old.
49. Appreciate you, Ursula.
I love that. You've got a big milestone next year.
Yeah, we go. Yeah.
That was the big one for me. But anyway, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We're going to continue our conversation from our top stories because it got a lot of you going and and got all of us going. And the question is this bill in Olympia going in the right direction? Because it would cap rent increases by 10% instead of 7%, which the Republicans say is still too much. Any kind of rent control, and you can call it rent control, rent stabilization. I mean, obviously, depending on where you fall on it, there's different terminology. I'm just calling it rent control because essentially you're putting a cap on it.
Right down. Yep.
So 10%, 7%, and you and I are basically on the same page when it comes to we worry that it's actually going to have a negative effect. Yeah. And so I want you to continue on your argument because you said you also came up with some other thought.
Yeah, and here's some other thoughts right here. The thing is, Ursula, well, with this topic right here, there are a lot of people that easily just dismiss or just kind of talk about this topic from like, oh, whatever, the landlords, they can be able to make up for themselves because maybe of landlord stories that maybe you've heard in the past. Few things. One, I hear way more stories of squatters than I hear about bad landlords. That's number one. Me personally, okay? Number two, when you are talking about putting caps, I find it interesting that we really want to have a conversation on caps when you don't want anything else in your life being capped. You don't want your salary that you make being capped. When the utilities that need to be paid by the landlord, those things aren't capped. When you start paying for maintenance, people coming in to take care of the home so the upkeep of the home keeps up, there's no cap on that expense. The last point I want to make is this, and here's the big picture part that I want everyone to see. In the city of Seattle, let's just take Seattle itself. I have this opinion that Seattle is the place of affluence. It wants to keep it that way. They want to make sure that if you live in this area, you make money. Here's my angle
That's bleak.
Here's my angle on this. If you own a home in Seattle and you rent it out, and a renter says, you know what, I don't want to pay rent anymore. You can't kick them out, number one. Number two, you have to go through the process. And when you go through the process, that renter, that squatter, now has the ability to get the city of Seattle to pay for their attorney fees,
which I find outrageous.
And here's the biggest part of the game. Ursula, let's just say it's you. Once you go through that thing with that squatter, you are now tired and you never want to go through that again. Meanwhile, there's people with big money that's like, oh, Ursula, I would totally understand. Here, we're going to buy that from you. Hey, mom and pop that's had 2-3 properties. Oh, you're tired? We'll buy that from you. So now you have Seattle. We'll be talking about in your top stories, the city of Seattle in the state of Washington. The city of Seattle is the place where it's the least amount of mom and pop landlords. So therefore, rent is extremely high. So you for sure have to live outside of Seattle. It's a big win.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I think the general feeling for at least people who own some of these mom and pops, and we saw that certainly during the pandemic, was that the climate is very unfriendly for people to want to even get into it. I shared with you that after my mother-in-law passed away, we inherited her house and we rented.
Okay.
And so we are one of those people that you're talking about.
Good renters?
We have great renters, but we put it out for rent and in the winter when it was a softer market. So we know that we could make a lot more if we wanted to charge more. But we got great renters in, and they actually asked if they could sign a 2-year lease, and we agreed, and we only increased the rent by $100.
So you are telling me and have proven to me my point. If you have good renters,
yes,
90% of thank you.
But we also considered not even doing it and just selling the house and not being, not getting into it. And my husband said, I don't want that headache. But here's the flip side, and we need to. And you said, you always hear more from people who have squatters, et cetera. I would also argue, though, that you're in a different phase of your life, because there are many people that are like 360 who just texted in. And I just want to say that this person said, I sold my home and I rented, and then 6 months in, my rent was raised by 42% for that 7th month. That's not okay either. And she said, I moved again, and then in 36 months, my total rent increase was 40%. I'm 82 years old, and I'm really sorry that I sold my home. So I don't want to overlook the fact that there are many people who are getting screwed over.
I will agree with you when you say where I am in life, who I know, different people. I know a lot of landlords, but I want to talk about something. Is it fair to say that I'm honest about life, how it was for me 10, 15 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to go back then.
Yes. Because you were one of those renters that abused the situation?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I was one of those people who couldn't pay rent and had to leave. But back then, still the same story. I know more of people trying to game the system than I know of landlords trying to take advantage of it. Look, I never had a landlord try to take advantage of me. I don't know any friends of mine where the landlord tried to take advantage of them. I know some friends. I know some people that didn't have the money. That's me. That's them.
Yeah. Like I said, I would be open, and I am encouraged that they're trying to look at, okay, can we find some kind of balance? Is there some way to find some kind of balance? But I think it was a mistake not to allow Republicans to have more input when it comes to this, and that's what they're complaining about too.
What? I'm curious of something. I feel like this topic, I'm a little more harsh on this, and I can feel your energy where you're trying to be more understanding.
Yeah, because I know that there are two, if not many more, sides to the story. And my heart goes out. I mean, I would hate for an 82-year-old, and I also just know that my parents didn't have a whole lot of money. Yeah. And this place is not kind to people with not a whole lot of money who need to have a place to stay.
I'd argue that most landlords that have maybe 2 homes or 3 places for rent, I'd argue most of them are like you. You have someone in your place right now. You charge them just a little, just right there because
under market.
Because you appreciate them being there. Matter of fact, you let them sign a 2-year lease.
Yeah.
Most landlords want to be able to just have consistency.
Not the corporate ones.
So So guess who's going to be getting these places if we continue down this rabbit hole of rental cap? The corporate ones, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to rent from the corporate folks.
Well, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We promised we were going to talk about Seattle City Light. I mean, you've got to hear.
Yeah.
What's been going on? And my question is, how was that able to go on?
We'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
Hartley Wilcox here from Wilcox Family Farms. A question we get asked a lot this time of year is, how do the hens stay warm when it's so cold out? Of course, we have nice barns to protect them from the rain, wind, and snow. But also, their feathers are like a down jacket, and if they need additional warmth, they will often snuggle together. And for those very cold days, we have heaters to keep them comfortable and happily laying eggs. Wilcox is committed to organic, humane practices that keep our hens healthy and help preserve the land. When you choose food from local family farmers like Wilcox, you support the local economy with jobs and promote environmental sustainability, making it possible for our family to keep on producing great eggs for another 100 years. Pick up Wilcox eggs at Costco, Marlene's, and Hagen's. And for a healthy snack on the go, grab some ready-to-eat, pre-peeled, hard-boiled eggs in a convenient to-go 2-pack. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Now is your time to get into a new DR Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the DR Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. DR Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
There used to be a time when quality and service meant something. Call us old-fashioned, but at RoofSmart, we're still stuck in that time. A time when craftsmanship meant more than price. A time when excellent service meant more than cutting costs. And a time when attention to detail meant more than rushing. Hi, I'm Jim Singletary, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we keep it old school. We're a locally owned roofing company that cares about customers over profit. While other roofing companies are being bought out by private equity and turned into quality-cutting, margin-maximizing machines, we're still here staying true to our customer-focused values. That's why we use manufacturers who share our same quality-first values, and we never outsource our installations. Our guys are paid better because we expect excellence, and we have in-house quality control. Think private equity guys do that? To replace your roof with a company deeply rooted in old-fashioned values, call RoofSmart at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy-policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Kia of Everett believes that when you're buying your new Kia, it should be simple, easy, and fun. So come in for our spring savings event. You'll get our best price first. Complimentary appraisals to get your highest trade-in value.
with 3 complimentary oil changes and 2 complimentary tire rotations. The best drive you'll ever take is to Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Some restrictions apply. Visit KiaofEverett.com for details.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Hi, this is Angie with Max Flooring. Your home deserves the best. At Max Flooring, we're proud to be a part of the Pacific Northwest for over 30 years. From classic hardwood floors to trendy vinyl planks, we have the perfect flooring for your space. Experience the quality and service Max Flooring has to offer. Come see us at Max Flooring in Seattle at 98th and Aurora, and I will help bring your dream floor to life. Visit us online at maxflooring.com. That's MACS flooring.com. Max Flooring, your home, your style.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Hey, just so you know, at 10 o'clock, Dr. Jason Johnson is going to join us. What's that?
It's going to be spicy. We've got a better phone line for him. He promises.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Ursula, I'm going to sit back and let you really set this up for everyone because this is a very serious topic.
Okay, so imagine all this. This is a government agency where employees are getting drunk on the job, sexually harassing female workers, extorting apprentices. Those are the findings of a year-long investigation of frontline Seattle City light workers. And call me shocked and disgusted. So this is from the Seattle Times, and they're reporting that 40 of City Light's network group workers are implicated in this. 5 people have been fired, 7 have been suspended, 9 got written warnings, and 13 were given training. So the network group is these are the folks who service the electrical lines in downtown Seattle. I mean, you know how dangerous this work is. This is stuff that's they do work underground on busy streets with live electrical wires, and we're talking about workers being drunk on the job. I mean, and again, this is spanning over several years. Chef, did we?
2014.
So starting in 2014, I mean, there've been allegations of impropriety over the years, and there have been allegations made, but this is the first time we are seeing a report, an independent report looking into this. I mean, and just the details are shocking.
So Chef did a great job. Thank you, Chef, for breaking down. He has the bullet points for us. Ursula, I'll read some of the ones to you, and I'll have you react to them. Here's one of them. Workers going to job sites drunk and falling out of city trucks while intoxicated. That's one. Apprentices pressured to buy alcohol for crew parties and evaluations. Lewd jokes and generally misogynistic environment. Another female employee said she was afraid to stop a crew chief from touching her thighs and between her legs. One woman reported a coerced sexual encounter with a crew chief who came to her home uninvited, fearing retaliation if she refused him.
I mean, this sounds like the worst fraternity on Greek Row on a really bad night. And I don't mean to make light of it, but it sounds like what was going on there? And how does something like this happen when, I mean, these are employees that are, first of all, paid well. And so what kind of culture was being, and who is being held accountable?
Are we going, how about this? This is Gee and Ursula Show, right?
Yeah.
We talk about these topics like nobody else can. We go beneath the surface. Let's be real. This Seattle City-like culture they have records of this dating back to 2014 has been and still is happening all across America. As a matter of fact, there needed to be a Me Too movement, Ursula, for people to truly understand what women are going through in these workplaces. We still have a problem where there are people who don't understand that in text messages, let's just say you have a crew text message and you have ladies that are part of the text message. We still today we have men that don't understand that, hey, it might not be a good idea to send that pornography in the text messages. That is disrespectful to that woman. So if you do that in 2015, there's going to be continued record of that. What I'm trying to say is I'm not just putting all this on City Light. I'm putting this on the culture that has been. I'm putting this on the awful culture that this all good old boy man crew has done throughout the history of time.
I mean, you're right that too much of this has gone on throughout the history of time in too many corporate cultures. But we're looking at, this is a government agency where, again, like I said, I mean, the CEO, I think the CEO, and it's a new CEO right now. So this new CEO put out a statement. And I mean, to me, the statement is just words. You have to show with actions that you've truly changed the culture. And I know that she was brought in, I think just in 2024. And I see that Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell's office says once he learned of these allegations, this investigation became a top priority. I mean, thankfully that this investigation was done, but think of how many years people allowed for this to happen. And my question is, how many women do work at Seattle City Light in these positions? I think it's a very small percentage. Yeah. And a lot of times people say, well, why is it important to diversify your work group?
Oh, you mean, you want to talk about DEI?
Yeah.
And how DEI, right, is important for diversity into these workplaces. And when you talk about diversity, that includes women.
That's right.
I know most of you all think it's just black people that benefit from DEI. No, DEI involves women. So when you have workplaces that are heavily dominated by men, you ready for this? There's probably a possibility that the workplace culture is bad.
And who were these people who didn't say anything when they saw what was going on? A female worker had a 5-gallon bucket of ice water dumped on her by a crew chief in a forced wet T-shirt contest. Another female employee said she was afraid to stop a crew chief from touching her thighs and between her legs. Another one reported a coerced sexual encounter with a crew chief who came to her home uninvited and then fearing retaliation if she refused him.
Are you ready for you? Let me give you the answer. I'll give you the answer that was just said by Caroline Levitt the other day. It's the term that you guys, some of you are okay with. You ready? Boys will be boys.
This is disgusting.
Right?
This is disgusting and in some cases criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And so there has to be follow-up.
Boy.
I mean, so we say 5 people have been fired, 7 suspended, 9 given written warnings, and 13 were given training. And this has been going on. Like, what is changing within Seattle City Light's culture? So what's next?
More of these lawsuits. Coming up next, Dr. Jason Johnson, Gee Ursula.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cold is leaking and rats are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. China's move to boost the tariff rate on U.S. goods to 125% has intensified the trade war. White House correspondent Weijun Jiang says it's not clear if the next step will be negotiations.
President Trump wants to negotiate this deal directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He doesn't want anyone under him to be doing the legwork, which usually is what happens. But we've talked to several members of his cabinet just this morning. We spoke with the top trade official, the USTR, Jamieson Greer, about engagement with China, and they're all saying we're not talking to Beijing because Trump himself wants to broker this deal.
Trump envoy Steve Witkoff is in Russia. The Kremlin says he's due to meet with President Vladimir Putin about the war in Ukraine. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
These are regular meetings, and they're meant to bolster military support for Ukraine. But considering Putin's stance, defense ministers have already said he's in no mood for peace. Actually, they said this morning, peace is out of reach.
The commander of a U.S. Space Force base in Greenland has been fired after she defended ties to Denmark in a base-wide email following Vice President Vance's visit. A judge is set to decide whether to go ahead with a resentencing hearing for Eric and Lyle Menendez, the brothers serving life for killing their parents. The previous DA in California sought one as new evidence surfaced. Legal contributor Jessica Levinson says the new one is not on board with that.
The district attorney has said that he and his staff have reviewed all of the evidence and have come to the conclusion that there isn't a legal basis for the resentencing here, that it wouldn't be appropriate. And I think a judge will heavily consider what the current administration is recommending.
Authorities say all three people aboard a small plane that crashed near an interstate not far from the airport in Boca Raton, Florida, were killed this morning. New warnings in a UN report on Gaza, as we hear from Jerusalem reporter Linda Gradstein.
Speaking to reporters in Geneva, a spokesperson for the UN said that the death, destruction, and displacement within Gaza raise real concerns as to the future viability of Palestinians as a group in Gaza. Spokeswoman Ravina Shamdasani also told reporters that repeated suggestions that Palestinians should leave Gaza entirely also add to this threat. Israel has not allowed food aid or medicine to enter Gaza since a 2-month-old ceasefire broke down last month, and Palestinians say the humanitarian situation is worsening.
Health Secretary Kennedy says the government will undertake a massive effort to determine the cause of autism and finish work by September. Wall Street, the Dow is up 400 points. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
The racist video that's gone viral, the story coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Renton, a crash is blocking a lane on I-405 northbound near Northeast 44th Street. You're backed up past State Route 169. Travel time Renton to Bellevue is 44 minutes now, about half an hour longer than typical. Near JBLM, emergency pothole repair has a lane blocked on northbound I-5 at the Steilacoom-DuPont Road. You're backed up to Marvin Road Southeast. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is 24 minutes longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. An apparent racist attack caught on video in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood.
The video uploaded to Instagram appears to show a white man calling a female victim the N-word.
Go back to Tacoma, where you belong, you f***ing
After several people identify the man and where he worked, the president of that company told me in an email he is no longer associated with our company. It comes after a rash of hate crimes in Seattle, including an attack on people outside an LGBTQ bar, another on a transgender person. King County prosecutors say since 2018, they've filed 355 hate crime charges. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A bullet rips through the window of a University of Washington sorority. It happened early this morning. Police say car prowlers fired at a man who interrupted them. No reports of injuries. Everett police are ramping up patrols on Evergreen Way, where they say one man has attacked workers at 2 separate bikini baristas. KIRO 7 TV's Eric Thomas has more.
Apart from simply visiting the coffee shops and spreading awareness, law enforcement also providing some tips for employees to use. That includes locking store windows until they're directly interfacing with customers so they know exactly who they're engaging with, and keeping cell phones nearby and fully charged just in case there's a quick need to call for help.
My advice would also be to kind of know your avenues of escape within the stand.
There's also going to be an increased police presence along Evergreen Way, which should result in faster response times, curtail any suspicious behavior, and perhaps help them find anyone in the area that matches the suspect's description.
And we put a photo of the suspect up at mynorthwest.com. Coast Guard crews are helping to mop up a diesel spill in Salmon Bay near the Ballard Locks. Petty Officer Steve Strohmeyer says it left a noticeable sheen on the water.
Any pollution that enters the water is obviously pretty serious. It's a very sensitive and fragile ecosystem out here.
It's not clear where the diesel came from, but he does not believe there's an ongoing leak. Big crowds are expected to visit Seattle for FIFA Club World Cup soccer matches this summer. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin is finding out how Sound Transit is preparing.
They anticipate around 150,000 visiting this summer.
We have been through a number of events that are as large as this summer's events. The All-Star Games and the Taylor Swift concerts were really, 2 tests for us, and we performed really well through those.
To accommodate that, Transit says they're adding more routes, even finishing the East Side extension.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It's 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Fresh Friday, April 11th. Y'all want to hear what I just told Ursula, Sophia, and Chef? Let me tell you what I just said just now. And I'm being serious when I say this. I worked way too hard during the 9 o'clock hour. The topics that Ursula laid out for us, they were too serious for me. I worked way too hard. So I'm just telling you, for the rest of the show, dang near whale moments from me from here on out. I'm enjoying my birthday. I'm just
we're about to get into our meaty 10 o'clock
I'm reading
segment.
my text. Kay from Lakewood just texted in. Beth from Everett sent me a card. Folks sending me Biscoff cookies.
Yes, so you don't know who sent you the Biscoff cookies, but that was so thoughtful because you've talked about how much you love them, especially on Alaska Airlines, but you have no idea who sent them to you.
I got to tell you, you guys are awesome. I'm just so...
You're getting lots of love on our text line
You interview our next guest, Dr. Jason Johnson.
Oh, and you're going to coast?
I'm going to read these text messages.
No, you're jumping in. Okay, but text us 888-973-5476 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
As the Trump administration continues to flood the zone, it's really hard not to feel whiplash from everything going on in Washington, D.C. and on Wall Street. So let's bring in one of our favorite political analysts. Dr. Jason Johnson is an MSNBC host and analyst. He's a professor of politics and journalism at Morgan State. And you could also check out his podcast, A Word with Jason Johnson. Good morning, Jason.
I am here to wish a certain person happy birthday.
Yes.
That's way more important than the stock market. But yes.
Well, he's reading messages and he's checked out, but I think he'll check back in for you.
What we got?
Okay. Well, as you know, Dr. Johnson, the escalating trade war has dominated the news this week. China now is raising tariffs on U.S. goods to 125% in retaliation for what the U.S. has done. I need you to listen to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who says all this is really working in our favor.
We have so many countries to talk to. It is it's incredible. I think Scott and I'm not sure we could ever have enough time in the day to talk to all these countries because they want to talk and they want to talk now. And they have come with offers that they never, ever, ever would have come with, but for the moves that the president has made, demanding that people treat the United States with respect. We're getting the respect we deserve now, and I think you're going to see historic deals one after the other. And then I'm very excited that within a week and a half, we're going to start with the gold card. And the Trump card is coming out, and we're very excited about that. And that's coming soon, so very excited.
Okay, Jason, could we all be wrong on this? Because Gee and I have been very critical of how this is all played out. But could we be wrong?
Oh no, you're not wrong at all. This is terrible. This is terrible. This is insider trading masquerading as global economic policy from this regime, because I barely want to call them an administration. If you want to renegotiate, right? If you want to go to war, right? You pick a target. And then you go after that target and you engage and you battle and you find the best deal and you sue for peace and you do what you need to do. What you don't do is start a war with everybody in the building, then backtrack on half the tariffs. And here's the thing. Some of these tariffs Trump's saying he's going to backtrack on, but he's already angered other countries to a degree that, one, China's putting new tariffs on us. Certain trade negotiations in Europe are now done. They don't want to work with us anymore. And other countries are going to remember this. They're going to remember that pension plans and economic deals were scuttled in 48 hours for a short-sighted plan. This is not good strategy. It will not accomplish the things that Trump said it would accomplish. It doesn't get us better deals long-term. It doesn't bring jobs back to the United States. And in the short term, it could be very, very expensive, especially when it comes to the services, products, and things like that Americans want to buy in the summer.
Can you give us some light? Can you do your best, because you're good at this? Can you give us something that is going better than expected, or that's going pretty good for our country right now?
I mean, for the country as a whole, I can say this in the long-term economic sort of view. What Trump is doing right now is terrible, right? But many of these trade agreements did need to be readjusted. They don't need to be readjusted this way, right? So let's say you're like, yo, I really, really need to, I need to have a conversation, with my car dealer, right? Like there's issues with my car. Now, you can do that by calling the car dealer and saying, hey, I brought my car back several times. This isn't getting fixed. I keep hearing a clicking sound. Or what you could decide to do is take the car and drive through the front door of the dealership and smash everything and put it on the table. We're doing the smashing thing and the table, right? But ultimately, it could potentially get the car fixed, right? What Trump is doing now could potentially get some of these deals to be renegotiated. Will they offset the bad deals? No. But the only positive I can see is that, some of these trade relations were based on policies from 15, 20, sometimes 30 years ago. They needed to be updated. They hadn't been updated. The problem is Trump isn't doing it because he really wanted to update these deals long term. He's doing it because he wanted to crash the stock market so his billionaire buddies could buy back stock and make money at our expense.
You are listening to Dr. Jason Johnson, an MSNBC host and analyst, professor of politics and journalism at Morgan State. And Jason, what about the national debt? Because a lot of times our listeners, and someone just texted in and said, hey, this is what the president is trying to address, and this is a real problem. Can you see any of these things working in favor of helping with the national debt?
No. That's so. First off, can I just point out, nobody cares about the national debt until it's convenient for them. We've had debt for most of my life, right? Like there was a statistic I remember hearing about almost 20 years ago where it was every single American over the age of 20 basically could write $1,000 check to China, right? That's how much we owe them as far as what our businesses had borrowed from them, et cetera, et cetera. No, the national debt is not that much of an issue. The issue is if you have a trade deficit. The issue is if you do not have good negotiation skills and if you don't have good manufacturing. Or what we have primarily in America is such a divergence between wages and productivity, because we have a country where wages are actually really, really low relative to what people are getting and what they're paying for. Those are the larger economic problems. The debt is not an immediate issue. I don't know anybody at any point who could say in 2025 or 2015 or 2005 and 1995 that the debt was the reason that somebody on Main Street couldn't get a job. The debt is not the reason that your egg prices are so expensive that people are going to be painting tomatoes or painting potatoes later on this month.
Someone would hear us talking right now and they would say, you all have such bad things to say about this administration. I want to read something to you by CNN that just came out. U.S. consumer sentiment plummets to second lowest levels on records going back to 1952. One more thing. It has now lost more than 30% since December of 2024. Your opinion on that?
Let me make this clear, because I love those kinds of statistics. So the worst consumer sentiment in the United States since a couple of years after World War II. Okay, when 3/4 of the planet was recovering from Nazism. The lowest consumer sentiment going all the way back to before America was a functional democracy, because frankly, anything that occurred in this country before the Civil Rights Act of 1965, we were essentially an apartheid state. So that shows how disappointed people are, that we're going back to a point that Trump says was when America was great, and people are that unhappy. Okay, the problem that I see with this is not just the short-term economic difficulties people are facing, the long-term decisions that people are not going to make now because they don't trust the economy. It's the fact that once this sets in, Gee and Ursula, once people really start saying, oh, my gosh, this is nothing but chaos, you know what people do? They tighten their pockets. They close their wallets. They seal up their pocketbooks, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Most economists I know, and I'm not talking TV economists, and I'm not talking people with millions of followers for major newspapers and magazines. I'm talking about the nerd economists that I know who are college professors. They're like, yo, we are already in a recession. It's just no one wants to say it. And you get a recession with a combination of bad business decisions, over-leveraging debt, and when the consumer base is so worried about the future that even the people who have jobs ain't spending. And I'll say this real quick. I can say this about the D.C. metropolitan area, right? D.C. alone, because of the number of people who are federal government employees, have federal contracts, or run businesses that depend on federal employees, guys, you're seeing summer camps get shut down because you got so many government employees who are out of work. They're like, hey, I can't send my kid to camp anymore. We're talking about piano lessons. We're talking about summer concerts, all sorts of things already slowing down. And that's in the D.C. metro area. Imagine smaller towns in Nebraska and Mississippi where the federal government is the biggest employer, and you got 3/4 of those people been laid off because of Elon Musk. This is recession without calling it a recession, and it ain't good news, and it ain't going to get better anytime soon.
Dr. Johnson, you mentioned Elon Musk, and one of the things that has happened because of all this tariff stuff is that we haven't been paying attention to Doge. Have we seen any reports of what actually has been cut, and are they done?
No, they're not done, and they just had there was just a report that I read this morning about how they've just cut the CDC investigators who were primarily responsible for sort of looking after foreign travel. So that means, hey, good luck if you decide to take a cruise this summer, because the CDC people who make sure those things aren't floating Petri dishes, they're no longer working. Another report earlier this week that they cut down on sort of bloodborne diseases researchers at the CDC and pulled back some of those grants that have been given to big universities. So things like sickle cell and all sorts of other issues are no longer going to be investigated by the federal government, no longer going to be researched by the federal government. Doge keeps doing what it's doing. No one has been able to stop them. The courts aren't going to do anything about it, and we're going to end up suffering. And I will tell you guys this. This is not a small thing. I got a friend who's 19 hours away from getting a pilot's license. He said that he had an incident 2 weeks ago in the air where a crop duster flew by him and his trainer 20 feet in the air. He's like, we were freaking out. You know, the pilot had to take over, blah, blah, blah. They land. His pilot, who, of course, is a conservative Republican, we're talking about somebody in North Carolina right now, even the pilot said, all right, look, I got to hold back. Let's push off lessons for about 5 or 6 weeks, because he's worried about the number of layoffs that they've had in the FAA and the lack of staffing that you have in towers. I mean, this is like, my friend was just telling me this 2 weeks ago. He's like, yeah, man, he's 19 hours away. He's been wanting to get this pilot's license. And his teacher literally said when they got to the ground, he's like, yeah, I want to hold off on this for a while. I just don't. There's just not enough staff, and we need this to sort of settle down. That's what people are looking at right now.
Okay, so here's my question, because you just said the courts can't stop it. What are Democrats in Congress doing? Are they doing enough? I mean, I'm just finally seeing some voices, the Chris Murphys of the world, the Melanie Stansberrys of the world. I mean, some voices are stepping up. Adam Schiff, but it feels like everyone's just letting everything happen.
So it's a combination of things. I mean, stopping future Trump appointees, which they're now going to do in the Senate, is good. They should have done that from the very beginning. They shouldn't have voted for, some of these idiots. I mean, fine, let the Republicans put these people in office. So they are offering some pushback. The problem is, ultimately, most of these decisions are going to be in the hands of the courts, and that takes a while, and we don't necessarily know. We don't know how the court's going to rule. 9 times out of 10, the Supreme Court, because it's completely bought, it's going to rule in terms of Trump. This is what I tell people to do, because you hear people all the time who are like, oh, my God, I don't know what to do. And they either want to shut down, they don't want to listen to the news at all, or they decide that, it's all worthless, or they feel exhausted. Decide the part of the world that you love, that you can affect at a local level, and start there. Right. So, for example, if you live in Seattle, if you live in Los Angeles or something else like that, why don't you just go to a local city council meeting and say, hey, I'd like to know what this city is going to do to protect international students, right, who might have their visas revoked on some BS. What are you going to do about that? That actually can be handled at a state level. That could be handled by a city. Cities don't have to welcome ICE. They don't have to let ICE agents walk onto campuses and drag kids out who've been here for 3 years. You can do that locally. And I promise you, if you think of a huge metro area, it just half of 1% of the voting population made a pledge to come by once a month to city council and say, what are you going to do to stop ICE from yanking kids out of schools? It would make a huge difference. A huge difference. There are so many things we can do at the local level that we don't do because we want to focus on Congress.
Okay, Dr. Johnson, how about the SAVE Act, which has passed the House, and there were some Democrats, including one from our state, who voted in favor of the SAVE Act, and she's getting a lot of heat on. She's a Democrat, but she voted with Republicans, and this would basically eliminate mail-in and online voter registration. You're going to need to provide proof of citizenship in person at your local election office. What is the problem with the SAVE Act in your mind?
I have no problem if you're going to make it a law that you have to prove residency or citizenship. Fine. If people want to do that, they want to do that. The problem is very few of these bills, and this applies to the SAVE Act as well, include a timeline or investment in providing people with those resources. So if you want to tell me, all right, starting in 2026, you've got to have your birth certificate and you have to have, a state ID to vote, then there needs to be several $100 million in that bill to print all of that documentation out and give it to people. Right? Because essentially it's a poll tax. You're telling me you're going to change the criteria upon which I have to vote after I'm already 35, 40, sometimes 65 years old. And now you're telling some 65-year-old retiree, some 80-year-old grandma who's been voting for 35 or 40 years just using, her library card, that now she's got to go downtown and go to the Social Security office and get a new card printout. That's my problem. It is a poll tax. I don't mind people having to provide ID. I'm saying the state or the federal government needs to make sure that all those people can get IDs. If you had asked my grandmother, God bless her, if you had asked my grandmother before she passed, hey, where's your birth certificate? My grandmother was 86 years old. Okay, they barely kept track of black people when they're born in this country. She was born in like 1920, right? So she didn't have her birth certificate anywhere. She had a Social Security card. She would not have been able to get one. She would have had to go back and forth downtown in order to get that information. The SAVE Act is trying to cut out millions of people from voting by asking them to provide documentation that they know they're not going to be able to easily provide or submit.
Before we go, you and I, when we talk on the phones, you and I go back and forth with analogies and examples. I was thinking about this U.S. consumer sentiment, how it has plummeted, and how a lot of people around the United States are really uncertain and are really afraid. But if you look, depending on what news source you watch, if you look at Fox News, you won't even see the stock market ticker there anymore because they don't want you to see that. Can you right now? We got 1 minute, by the way. Can you think of a story in which your parents tried to tell you something, and the only way you learned that lesson is that you had to touch the stove and really find out it was hot? Is there any lessons that you could think, man, I wish I would have listened to my parents earlier, and I had to find out the hard way?
Yeah, they used to have them with my dad all the time in football. My dad used to tell me that you have to practice in the off season to play football. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play with my friends and play Nintendo. And then on my youth league football team, we lost every single game once. Every single game. We didn't just lose every single game, G. We failed to score a point all season. And I know football is a team sport, but had I done a little bit more work, maybe I would have been able to get in the end zone. So, yes.
I try to bring some levity and some laughter, and Dr. Johnson, you do a great job of that. But I really believe that there's going to have to be people in this country to get out of their partisan lens, to get away from this, oh, my gosh, he can do no wrong. You're going to have to touch that damn stove and see if it's hot. That's the only way Americans are going to have to find out about that man that's in office. It's the only way.
My problem with that, G, is some people are going to touch that stove. They're going to burn their hand. They're going to be like, damn that DEI stove, and they ain't going to learn the lesson. They're not going to learn the lesson. Some people just don't want to learn.
Did you just call it a DEI stove? I'm through with you, man. Goodbye, Dr. Johnson. Have a great weekend, man.
I will. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. That point about a DEI stove is so big. Come on next, Gee and Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin. Muckleshoot. Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hartley Wilcox here from Wilcox Family Farms. A question we get asked a lot this time of year is, how do the hens stay warm when it's so cold out? Of course, we have nice barns to protect them from the rain, wind, and snow. But also, their feathers are like a down jacket, and if they need additional warmth, they will often snuggle together. And for those very cold days, we have heaters to keep them comfortable and happily laying eggs. Wilcox is committed to organic, humane practices that keep our hens healthy and help preserve the land. When you choose food from local family farmers like Wilcox, you support the local economy with jobs and promote environmental sustainability, making it possible for our family to keep on producing great eggs for another 100 years. Pick up Wilcox eggs at Costco, Marlene's, and Hagen's. And for a healthy snack on the go, grab some ready-to-eat, pre-peeled, hard-boiled eggs in a convenient to-go 2-pack. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one, and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home, and best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain. DayandNight.net. You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak. DayandNight.net. Your old water heater, she's starting to peter. DayandNight.net. The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell? DayandNight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Results of a 2-year investigation into Seattle City light utility crews has unearthed a culture of drinking on the job, retaliation, and, as KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibau reports, sexual harassment.
A witness reported a crew chief had a laptop on the dashboard broadcasting porn, and the crew chief showed others porn on his phone. Witnesses say it made them feel uncomfortable, including the female employees who make up less than 6% of the network group.
The problems apparently span more than a decade. In response, the utility says it terminated 5 employees, suspended 7, given 9 of them warnings, and has increased training for others. The city of Snoqualmie says it fired its police chief following an investigation. Chief Brian Lynch was placed on administrative leave in February. Few details, but in a social media post, the city says it is, quote, committed to maintaining a workplace free from discrimination and harassment. REI is saying it's sorry for endorsing Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior. There are staffing shortages at the Forest Service, hiking trails have shut down, and the Department of Agriculture is allowing timber harvests on up to 59% of national forest lands. In a video posted to social media this week, company CEO Mary Beth Lawton says,
we're launching an effort to unite the business community in defense of our public lands and waters.
More than 60 businesses like REI are forming a Brands for Public Lands coalition to demand more transparency from Burgum and to prevent the sale of public lands. The U.S.-China trade war escalates. China boosting its tariff on U.S. imports to 125% after President Trump dialed up tariffs on Chinese imports to 145%. And CBS's Weijia Jiang reports.
President Trump wants to negotiate this deal directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He doesn't want anyone under him to be doing the legwork, which usually is what happens.
Earlier this week, former Washington governor and U.S. ambassador to China, Gary Locke, told KIRO News Radio it would likely take a neutral third party to negotiate an end to the trade war. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index plunged 11% in April from the previous month. CBS's Kelly O'Grady explains.
And it's just fears about tariffs, the inflation percentage, and just all of that mixed together.
On Wall Street, the Dow was up 305 points, NASDAQ ahead 143. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Renton, a crash is blocking a lane on I-405 northbound near Northeast 44th Street, but your backup is easing. Travel time Renton to Bellevue is 23 minutes, only about 7 minutes longer than what we typically see this time of day. Near JBLM, emergency pothole repair has a lane blocked on northbound I-5 at the Stillicum DuPont Road. You're backed up to Cabela's. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma, 55 minutes, 26 longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It's 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy birthday to Gee. And I think we just figured out the mystery. I think it was sweet Barbara who gave you the Biscoff cookies.
Barbara!
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Barbara. Your boy gonna be dipping them Biscoff cookies in that coffee and enjoying myself. And every time I eat it and take a bite, I'm gonna say, Barbara!
Barbara is so thoughtful.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, when I was going through a health issue, it was Barbara who
really
sent something. I mean, just so
I just want to say this before you get to what you get to. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. These text messages that have come in about happy birthday.
I know.
I just want you guys to know, thank you so much. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you. A lot of you guys are sending in. And
you know what I love, too, on these messages?
Yeah.
They didn't start off by saying, I rarely agree with you, but gee, I hope you have a happy birthday.
No, because Chef said something earlier today, and we're talking about, and he made a very good point, and we've discussed this. Like how many people that listen every single day that might consider us family?
I hope everyone who listens.
Not everyone.
Even the family that can't stand us.
But I just want you guys to know, you guys are like, it's the same thing. It goes both ways. Like some of you guys that text that drive me nuts. It's no different than having all of you have that one family member that comes over that drives you nuts.
Yes.
But it's still your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I drive you nuts.
At times.
All right, what we got?
Okay,
Ursula?
let's talk about Gen Z because there are some highly influential people who have some very strong thoughts about Gen Z's future. So let's first look at what JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said to Fox News. Well, he's been in the news a lot. When people want to get an opinion, they go to him a lot, and he's willing to share.
Jamie Dimon, that dude is I love that dude.
Yeah, he's brilliant. But tell me what you think about this statement.
Okay.
And we're going to ask our Gen Z members here on in the studio.
Okay.
So he says, these kids, anyone who is depressed, as long as we don't have nuclear war, they're going to have an unbelievable life. People say the next generation's in bad shape. Really? They're going to inherit a country that's worth $200 or $300 trillion. They're probably going to live to 120. AI is going to cure some cancers. They shouldn't be bemoaning their situation. They should be looking at the world and saying, what can I make of it? What can I do better than the folks before me?
Yeah, he missed. And the reason why
I agree with one part of it.
Okay. I'll just tell you right off and Gen Z, Nick and Sophia and them, y'all know how hard I am on y'all. But here's where he missed. Gen Z's got to make it there. Right now, Gen Z's they can't breathe right now. They can't buy a home. Gen Z walking around with full-time jobs. They got to live with their mom and dad, and they got to live with the roommates. So if they make it, if they got enough money left for therapy, because a lot of these Gen Z got it, boy, woo. Some of these folks been alive since 9/11 and pandemic, but they struggling.
Yeah, there's just been one crisis after another. Sophia, what do you think? What do you think of his statement?
Yeah, I think in some ways you could say, oh, we have so much technology advancements, and he said that we're going to live till 120. I think a lot of Gen Z are going to struggle to financially support themselves to that age, right? So we have that as an issue. We all went through a global pandemic, which is a very interesting thing to experience at such a young age. We've gone through at least 2 recessions. I would say this is our second recession that we're going to be in. I don't think it's necessarily going to be as simple as he said.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere too that like over 42% of people who are Gen Z do struggle with depression already. And I think that's just kind of a testament to a lot of what is happening in the world.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Gen Z, Sophia, Nick. One thing about Gen Z,
I'm always inspired by them.
I swear they're smarter than us. I swear they're smarter than us.
I'm always inspired. Nick, you want to weigh in?
We are smarter than you, and we're getting a lesser hand than you guys had back in the day too. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to Chef. I was talking to Chef behind the scenes about this. It grinds my gears knowing that the young people today are inferior to the older people sitting on these piles of cash, and we're working 2, maybe 3 jobs at a time to just try and reach an itch a little bit closer to that position. And, I love my parents, but it feels like young people these days are trying to work and jump through these hoops and pass these tests just to get a little sliver of independence that they have fully.
Okay. And I love what you said, Nick, and you're right. And let me raise my hand to something, and let me tell you why. You see, we have a history in this country that when we are afraid of folks, we put things and rules in place to make sure they don't have a chance. I think Gen X and baby boomers actually knows that Gen Z is much smarter than us. So right now they're making it hard for you to be able to do these things, right? Because we can stay and sit on top of the cash. No, I'm being serious.
There's a group, yeah.
I don't need to say the quiet part out loud. Literally, there are people that have been they were scared for people to get these reins because if they do, Jackie Robinson had to break into baseball. At one point, they stopped the slam dunk in college basketball because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was dunking too much. We have a history in this country of being afraid of people with talent.
Okay, the part that I like about Jamie Dimon's quote is that I think every generation should say the same, which is, what can I make of it and what can I do better than the folks before me? And I have every confidence that this next generation will do a better job than we did.
I'll just say the amount of profits companies are making versus the amount they're paying their employees is out of whack right now.
Well, let me give a no-brainer. Let me give something that you guys probably might not care about. If you like the Gee and Ursula Show, I want you to know that it was the idea of someone that was Gen Z. It was the idea of someone who doesn't even work in this building. It was the idea of someone who doesn't work in this profession. Who was it, Ursula? Go ahead. Tell him.
My oldest son.
Tell him. Tell him.
It was. Actually, it was Steven. Steven who said, I think you and Gee should pair up. And I proposed it. And it didn't go over well the first time, but the second time, I think, I'm so appreciative that that our management said, let's take a chance.
Now, if it was just me and you, Ursula, and we had like 2 other folks that was Gen X and baby boomers, our show would suck. If we didn't have Nick and Chef and them, we would.
You're right.
It's the boomer hour.
Oh my God, that's too much. That is too much. I didn't resemble that one.
Did y'all notice Nick was a little spicy today?
Oh, yeah.
It's Fresh
real
Fridays.
Spicy.
All
Okay.
right, coming up next, let's do a little scenarios. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, your home for the John Curley Show. Weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m.
The economy is like a machine. You have 2 levers. You can push the lever forward, you can make money cheap, and then people buy and they invest. Then the economy really starts cooking. Well, it starts cooking so much inflation can come in there as well. You pull that lever back, and now you increase the cost to borrow, which slows the economy down, and it just basically puts the brakes on everything.
Streaming live on your smart speaker.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, you know, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner. And that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
At the Harnish Auto family, people matter isn't just a saying, it's how they do business. For over 40 years, their dealerships, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Volkswagen, Subaru of Puyallup, plus Chevrolet and Kia of Everett, have built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. From supporting local charities to making sure every customer drives away happy, they're here for you. Stop by any of their dealerships or visit HarnishAutoFamily.com and find your next car today. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rate supply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their national Red Tag sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
It's Gee and Ursula, everybody. Let's get to some scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I'm attracted to a guy, but we've been and have gone on 2 dates, and I'm picking up on some signs that, wait, hold on. That was
Hey. That was too racy.
Hey,
it's your birthday and you didn't go through it.
Yeah, I want to leave that one alone, y'all. That wasn't good, and Ursula would not have been proud of me. There was another person that just sent this. I was at Lord, that was not good. I was at a dentist yesterday, and they were running late. So I had a little bit to kill in the waiting room. I started looking through a magazine and found an article with some awesome recipes. I quietly tore it out of the magazine, no harm, right? Anyway, I saw the dentist, and when leaving, the receptionist presented the charge along with the magazine and pointed to the $4.50 charge. I challenged her, and the receptionist admitted another customer told her I did it. I denied it, and she called me out, demanding I open my purse to reveal the evidence. I refused, but I ended up paying for the magazine. But I can't get over it. I think she's out of line to ask me to open my purse. Should I ask to talk to her supervisor? 888-973-5476. Ursula, you up to bat first.
You were wrong to tear out pages of a magazine at the in the reception area, knowing that there are other people who should also be reading the magazine. And so that was a selfish move. And normally, maybe you've gotten away with it before, but in this case, you were caught. And they're going to have to buy a new magazine. And so, no. I mean, go to the supervisor and say, what? I destroyed your property and I'm being asked to pay for it?
No. She wants to go to the supervisor because the receptionist demanded and asked her to open up her purse.
Oh, open up her purse. Okay, yeah, that was too far. That's too far, too.
You see, I gotta tell you, Ursula, I'm disappointed that you even thought that was too far.
Open up your purse?
Yes. Hold on. You know, but that's what's happening right now. This person ripped up the magazine.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Put it in her purse. And then when confronted about it, she denied it and then says, I'll just pay the $450. But now she wants to tell everyone, hey, I can't believe they told me to open my purse. So that is happening.
She became a victim.
That's happening in politics today.
Yeah, I think I misunderstood that.
Nobody cares about the facts.
Yeah.
They just care that this person was told to open their purse.
It's called redirecting the anger.
Do you guys seriously think somebody ripping a recipe out of a 6-month-old magazine is some sort of travesty? Like, there is a line between common sense and believing that everything is some sort of mortal sin, and I think we've jumped the shark here. It's a 6-month-old magazine. It's a recipe. It's 2 by 4
how
inches.
Do you know it's a 6-month-old magazine?
When was the last time that you went into a dentist or doctor's office and saw a magazine that was current? In fact, I haven't seen magazines in dentist's office for like 10 years.
Last time? So hold it. Now, you got on my case when I said I didn't get on my hands and knees and pick up crumbs after a baby ate. Yeah, after a baby was eating at the restaurant, and then now you're saying
I did not.
There's no problem.
Ursula, you've been holding on.
Ripping out pages of a magazine that you don't own. I mean, come on. By the way,
I'm not even going to defend myself.
Why rip out a page of a magazine? Why not just take a picture of it with your phone? That's
because
a great solution.
this message was written in 1987.
No! By the way, my nail place, they have brand new magazines. Yeah. I'd be selfish if I started ripping off pages from there.
Before we get to Nick, Sophia, what you got?
I mean, I was the same thing. I was like, they still have magazines in these offices? I mean, I think the whole situation on both sides is kind of petty. Like, should you be taking out the magazine pages? No. Like, that is kind of rude to do. But should we also be petty and be like, here's a $4.50 charge for ripping out a page?
That does seem petty, too.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Wait, because you think it's no problem, and then asking him to open up the purse. That's really going too far.
Hold on. Then I'm the person that says these Democrats and liberal policies. Let me tell you what's happening. No accountability. Y'all are okay. If you clip the damn recipe, give me $4.50. And then you have the audacity to lie.
Yeah. I didn't do it. Yeah.
Open your purse then.
Yeah.
And now you want to make it a big deal that I asked you to open your purse.
My suggestion would be drop it.
No, it was disrespectful of her, but also the fact that this is the conversation at all is ridiculous.
You know what? I can't believe this even made the scenario on the Big League Squad. You're talking about probably a 2-week-old edition of People or Time, ripping a page out and asking for a few bucks out of a mere page taken from it. Now, the idea for retaliation is to approach the desk? What is this, an elevator to the highest floor? So much escalation. I'll go to the dentist office for crying out loud and drop off a few bucks if this is going to drop the case.
Dang it, Nick. What a good song. Jeez. Ursula, hold on. What is happening? There's some...
You know what's happening? We're empowering Gen Z, and they're showing us that they can deliver. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Like, this whole idea that you guys think is too far. Look, lady, you're lying. And not only are you lying, let me prove it to you. Open your purse. And you guys are saying that's too far.
I know, but
what? You lied.
I will go with the pick your battles, but you lied. She shouldn't have done it in the first place, period.
But you tried to make me look bad.
Yeah.
You tried to make me look bad by saying I didn't do anything. Okay, open your purse, Lois.
Jeff and Bonnie Lake says, if you really want to be petty, say I'll pay for $4.50 divided by the number of total pages left.
All right, y'all. Chef, you got a good agree to disagree coming up next.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm done with work.
New host.
Oh, new host?
Sophia's doing it today.
Oh, Gee and Ursula.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Harbor Freight knows time is money. So for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. Right now, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s, who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The financial markets are up today, but there are still lingering concerns about tariffs, especially now that China has raised tariffs on U.S. goods to 125%. CBS's Weijia Jiang reports we're still waiting for a response from President Trump.
We've talked to several members of his cabinet. Just this morning, we spoke with the top trade official, the USTR, Jamieson Greer, about engagement with China. And they're all saying we're not talking to Beijing because Trump himself wants to broker this deal. And he wants Xi to call first. So at some point, someone's got to make a move here. And it doesn't look like either leader wants to back down.
Some American businesses are being proactive in passing on the costs of tariffs. And Stacey Lynn has that.
Some U.S. companies aren't waiting around. Many are slapping on tariff surcharges to the products they sell. One high-end footwear company whose shoes are made in Italy posted on social media they're hiking prices now, which they say is necessary to remain stable.
Lawyers for the Trump administration say they're not able to provide information on the status of a Maryland man wrongly deported to El Salvador. There was a court hearing scheduled today, but the administration lawyers say they haven't had enough time to review the Supreme Court court ruling from yesterday that the man be returned. Our Scott McFarland is covering.
The court has directed this lower court judge, Paula Sinis in Maryland, to come up with some clarification as to what the administration is to do to get Abrego Garcia out of that Salvadoran prison and back to the United States.
A federal judge is allowing the Trump administration to move forward with a requirement that everyone in the U.S. illegally must register with the federal government. Nydia Cavazos has more from Los Angeles.
Undocumented immigrants would have to provide their name, their address, their fingerprinting, and this can be done via the Citizens and Immigration Services online. But lawyers who we've been speaking to say that they're also cautioning their clients. They're not necessarily allowed to tell them that they cannot comply with DHS and this new requirement, but they're also advising them about the potential consequences of not doing so. Immigrants would face prosecution.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on the talks with Iran this weekend in Oman.
He's made it very clear to the Iranians, and his national security team will as well, that all options are on the table, and Iran has a choice to make. You can agree to President Trump's demand, or there will be all hell to pay.
President Trump is at Walter Reed Military Hospital today for his annual physical. On Wall Street, checking the numbers this hour, the Dow Jones Industrials are up 668 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
An update on the evacuation of a local school. Details coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. In Renton, it looks like the crash has been cleared from I-405 northbound. Your backup's easing and you're only running a few minutes slower than usual. And pothole repair just wrapped up near JBLM. All lanes are open on northbound I-5 at the Stillicum DuPont Road, but you're still backed up into Lacey right now. Travel time Olympia to Tacoma is 1 hour, half an hour longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Classes at Lake Washington High School are canceled for the rest of the day after a bomb threat was called in this morning. Students and staff who were already on campus were evacuated to the football field. Students are now being allowed to go home. Kirkland police are doing a sweep of the school right now, and they're working to identify where that call came from. Tense moments near the University of Washington this morning when a bullet ripped through the window of a sorority. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports, according to police, the suspect started shooting at a man who stopped them from car prowling.
Just 1 block off UW's campus, police say the victim confronted the prowlers. There was a fight, and that's when police say one of the suspects pulled out a gun, aimed it at the victim, but the gun jammed. Police say the suspects took off in their own car, but circled the block and fired multiple shots. Investigators say one of those bullets hit a second-story window of that sorority house. Nobody was injured. No arrests so far. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Everett police are ramping up patrols on Evergreen Way, where they say one man attacked workers at 2 separate bikini baristas. Police tell KIRO 7 TV they're also passing out the suspect's photo to coffee shops.
The communication that we can have among each other is what is going to help us catch this person and prevent further attacks.
We've put a photo of the suspect at mynorthwest.com. We've also posted a photo of a domestic violence suspect that Kent police believed died in a fire but may actually still be alive. This witness telling KIRO 7 TV.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie or of a television show.
Kent police chased 51-year-old Avon Cobb on Tuesday to a business in Auburn where negotiators tried to get him to surrender, and the building caught fire. Officers now say there's no evidence he died there. If you rely on Sound Transit Light Rail, get ready to share space with the 150,000 people expected to visit Seattle for FIFA Club World Cup soccer matches. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more.
Some passengers saying this ridership increase will be a bit of a challenge.
I definitely will plan ahead and maybe use an alternate means of getting to work.
Others are looking forward to the visitors.
I think it can be a great opportunity for us to really get to know our world a little bit better by being exposed to people coming in from different parts of the world.
Transit officials say they're excited for people to use the light rail as their main transportation while here for such big events.
6 games will take place between June 14th and July 13th. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It's 50 right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Ursula has already said it that today is Fresh Friday, April 11th. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning, G. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my friend.
Big 4-9.
High on life.
Oh, my God. Look at that. You are. You're in a great mood.
I am in a good mood.
Balloons, cake.
Yeah, y'all. Hey, Ursula brought in
none
the
of
balloons.
which that you're partaking in.
Not the cake. Not the cake anime. Not the cake.
I know, and I knew that you wouldn't, but it's on behalf of you.
Yeah, I don't like fun. Hey man, where y'all getting these sound bites from?
Hey, coming up at 11:30.
What we doing?
We need you to weigh in because the former Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, says y'all are going to be okay if they have to raise the retirement age to keep Social Security going.
Okay.
So not 62, should be higher. According to him and many others. So I would love to know, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Do you agree? We'll have a discussion.
I wonder, I'm curious where you're going to land on this.
Yeah. It's really a lot closer for me than you.
All right. Let's get. Oh, Sophia is in for Chef doing Agree to Disagree. Chef is still here. Don't worry. But Sophia is going to run the show. Agree to Disagree, brought to you by Garden Roofing and Gutters. One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
All right. The first question is doomsday shopping back? Amidst tariff concerns, a lot of people are making big purchases before prices increase. We kind of saw this during the pandemic as well when people were bulk buying toilet paper. They had a lot of fear that prices would go up. And we think about a lot of things that are generally going to impact a lot of people, but there are also products that are very niche that people might get imported from other countries that they're thinking about buying. Some things I saw was Korean skincare, Korean sunscreen. A lot of people are buying that in bulk. Cat food, you don't think about, like, wet cat food is made of tin plate steel. So people are saying they're buying cat food in bulk because their cat has to have a very particular diet. Even perfume, people are like, maybe if they were thinking about buying a really nice perfume, might as well buy 3 bottles because the price of it could be expensive. So my question for you guys is, do you believe that doomsday shopping is a necessary thing? Do you do it?
I hate calling it doomsday shopping because I don't believe it's doomsday, but I think it's being wise. So I will just say, during the pandemic, though, I think some people went cuckoo. I mean, if you were one of those that was filling your garage with just stacks and stacks of toilet paper and making it hard for everybody else, I feel that that's more selfish.
Lillian, you hear what Ursula's saying about you now, right?
She didn't fill the whole garage with toilet paper. Okay, there was a lot.
She filled up a side. We still living off that.
I especially don't like it if you do that and then sell it at a premium price because now there's a shortage.
Yeah.
Now, but do I think it's wise for people to buy knowing that we're going to be in this escalating trade war and it's probably going to get more expensive in the months to come? We haven't even seen the impacts yet. I mean, this is what economists are saying. This is not just me throwing that out there.
Right.
I think it would be wise to buy. You mentioned perfumes, which I'm obsessed with right now. I love that I have an excuse to buy additional bottles at this point. But I mean, when it comes to some necessities, or if you were already in the market for, let's say, a new car or some big ticket item, absolutely, this would be the best time to do that versus waiting to see. I mean, you know what the price is right now, and then you don't know what it's going to be, but we know it's likely going to go up. So I don't believe in the doomsday, like getting to the point where you can not have to worry about buying any of these products for the next year,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that just creates unnecessary shortages. But I think being wise is a good thing.
Well, I tell you, speaking of doomsday, it's been reported and talked about that Apple reportedly had some planes go out there and get some whole bunch of phones before those tariffs got busy. 3 big old plane loads to come on over here. As for me, I'm just not wired that way, Ursula. I'm just not. And it's my wife that is wired that way. She, like I said, she was the one going to get toilet paper during the pandemic in 2020. She's still wired that way. Right now, our pantry and all that stuff, she likes it. And then she loves this. She loves to be like, aren't you glad that I bought a lot? And I'm saying to myself,
Gee, I hope to goodness that you validate her, because you are the beneficiary of her planning.
Aren't you glad that I bought all that?
She shouldn't even have to ask you. You need to tell her without that prompting.
I mean,
because she thinks that way, and because she has taken the necessary steps, you never had a toilet paper shortage, and we know you have a shy bowel.
Nick,
no, I think shy bladder.
Clip that one.
That's an archive right there.
If you were to have a meatball moment, you would be so thankful that Lillian was prepared.
You win. You win. You win. You win.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so our next topic, a little bit different. It's about AI. Engineers at Texas A&M University are discovering a new way to use less energy in AI, as a big concern with AI is its energy usage. And their method is by mimicking the human brain. They say it's something they're calling super Turing AI, and essentially it integrates certain processes kind of like our synapses in our brain. So instead of processing AI from one hardware to another, which uses a lot of energy, this would simplify the process by having it just connecting. But my question is, do we like the idea of AI operating like a human brain? I mean, there was another study at UC San Diego where they asked participants to text, have 5-minute texting chats with a robot and a human, and then tell them after who they thought the robot and who the human was. And 73% of the AIs were thought to be human. Do we like that? Are we okay with that?
I'll let G start. Birthday boy.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I remember last year, Chef was bringing up this AI stuff, and I'm like, huh? What? What's that about? And that was earlier on. And then people were kind of making fun of it. And what people don't, and what I think we're all starting to come to understand is that the longer AI stays, the better that it's going to get. So this is 2025, Ursula. It's April 11th, 2025. By April 11th, 2027, do you all know how far? I'm afraid of how far along we're going to be with AI in another 2 years. Like, it makes me afraid.
I'm both afraid and excited, and maybe more excited than afraid, because there are so many things that are limiting in our life right now. And I mean, if I'm going to quote Jamie Dimon from last hour, he talked about if AI could help us find a cure for cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that has so far escaped during our lifetime. So I think I find that encouraging. But I thought the whole point of AI was to try to mimic the human brain as much as possible.
Yes. And so while that story that you told, that's you thinking glass half full, and that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
What scares me about AI is that company that has that team made up of 25 people to do the job, where AI is going to come in and only have one person do the job, and 24 people are going to be out of a job.
Yeah.
OpenAI actually said today that in order to create GPT-4, which is one of the latest iterations, they would only need a team of 5 to 10 people these days.
Yikes. Yeah. But, okay, and this is my glass half full brain once again saying, okay, so they'll only need 5 people instead of 25 people, but will those 20 other people who are now displaced, or will that open up opportunities elsewhere? Because, again, AI.
Robot mechanics or tiny screwdrivers assembling iPhones.
I mean, let's be real. The profession.
There's always going to be something new.
No doubt. But the profession that's going to be rocked the hardest is going to be tech. right? And one of the things that companies, by the way, I just talked to my FedEx person. We just had a good conversation about 30 minutes. He's the FedEx guy, comes to my house, love him to death. Right now, a lot of companies are trying to get rid of employees and want contract work. There's a lot of companies that are doing this because they don't want to pay all the insurances and all those things, and it's easier for the 1099. Are we ready for that world? We're not. Buckle up. We're not. Where'd he get there? Here we go.
Our next one is bullying in moderation, okay? Not in cases of abuse, but the idea is bullying isn't bad. On the flip side, it's necessary and a good thing that being lightly teased or having like a sibling growing up or a friend that would make fun of you for little things actually could add to a person's character and development and personality. And those who have never experienced any form of light bullying don't have as much character. What do we think about that?
Is this a psychologist who's coming up with this theory?
Not a psychologist. It's more just like a lot of internet talk. There was like a Reddit forum of someone going all into it. And a lot of people I've seen on TikTok and Instagram, they're like, yeah, like I'm so funny and the person I am today because I had a little bit of bullying growing up. Or I think it goes back to when people make comments about only children. They're like, oh, well, they never had an older sibling to knock them around and tell them that they were doing, tease them for who they are. Like, is that true? Like, does it add to our character as a person? Or is this just more,
I'm going to let you start, G.
No, it doesn't add to our character. I don't think you need bullying to be better at life. I went to military school, and I saw it in the worst way. So some would probably say, well, G, were you bullied? No, I wasn't. I was lucky is that here's a true story, guys. Here's something, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was lucky that I went to school with the Minister Farrakhan. Yes, Louis Farrakhan. I went to school with his son. And because sometimes that I would get rides back home to Chicago, he, who was older than me, I was 6th grade, he was a junior in high school, I was like his little brother. And so I was protected, right? I saw situations where people did not have that same protection, and man, it messed people up. I hate bullying, Ursula, in any forms.
Yeah, I do too, and I think that bullying behavior, I think that's a term that is used quite often now, and everyone has a different definition of what is bullying. Yeah. But obviously, if it's the intention to hurt either psychologically, physically, or emotionally, I hate that.
Fraternities?
I even
you
hate
good with fraternities?
What's that?
You good with the pledging and fraternities and sororities? You like that?
That's a part that, both my sons and my husband were all in a fraternity. And the part, and they would probably still say they would support it because they think the pros outweigh the cons. That all said, I hate the part about initiation. No, and I hate the initiation types of things that we heard about going on at Seattle City Light. I think that's completely abusive. On the flip side, though, there is something to be said about having to navigate when there are bullies, whether it's you advocating for someone else who is the victim of a bully or you being the recipient of what Sophia said was light bullying. Like someone, you know how you have those people who think they're funny, but they're really doing the digs? Mm-hmm. And even that, that's not necessarily bullying, but learning how to stand up for yourself and learning how to, like I said, navigate when people are just complete jerks or trying to bring you down. I think that is something that can strengthen your character and your resilience. But again, this is a big but. More often than not, bullying can completely ruin people's lives. And, if you talk to someone about what they endured in high school, 40 years later, if they were bullied, they'll still talk about it like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, and I feel like even with like moderate cases of, like people just saying something, a kid could make a comment about like your eyebrows in the 7th grade, and you will think about that for the rest of your life.
It's true.
Right? And it does, I think in ways it does shape you as a person because you learn to grow and develop, but I don't necessarily know if it's necessary for people to be successful at all.
Just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree.
Too many jerks.
Okay, our last one for today is another kind of big picture thinker. How have we gone too far with subscription services ads? The idea of I talked about something and then my phone just gave me an ad for it. I was talking about this with you, G, because we both started the new season of Black Mirror last night, and that's kind of an overarching question in this first episode. It's just the idea of advertisers just kind of existing and controlling our realm of day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about this?
I think it is something that we are in trouble with. There's going to be a subscription for everything. You want a subscription for your toilet paper, subscription for your towel, your washcloth, and all the different subscriptions. Where before, a lot of things were just simple. Let's back in our day, let me sound old. Back in our day, you paid one company and you got all of your channels. Today, you've cut all the cable, and now you're just paying different streaming services, pick which one you want, all those things. So what ends up happening, Ursula, you pay more today than you did yesterday when you had one-stop shop. But hey, you cut your cable, didn't you?
Yeah, I think this whole, you say something and then it shows up. It's creepy.
Yeah,
it shows up, and it just happened this past week. What was it? We were talking about something. I was like, oh my God, there it is. And it showed up on our phones, and and I never buy anything that pops up that way. I know that they say, there are studies that show that you are influenced by it, but
my phone's got me nailed. my phone, just as a matter of fact, during one of the breaks, they had a Mariners jacket come up from Ebbets.
Oh, because I asked you about your Mariners gear yesterday.
And it's clean. Matter of fact, during the break, I didn't have time. But I'm about to get that thing.
See, but you can stop it.
No, I can't.
And it's nice to use to your advantage if you know what's going on,
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Sophia, great job.
Thank you. I'm happy to introduce agree to disagree topics anytime.
That's awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this jacket, I'm going to post it on the Gee and Ursula Facebook. I mean, when I say it's clean, it's clean. Yeah, come on. Where do you guys got these sound bites at, man?
I think Chef's a jerk.
You know what's happening?
What?
Chef is having the time of his life right now because
time
Sophia
on my hands today.
is handling a lot of his normal duties, and so Chef has been creating brilliant cartoons.
Yeah.
Pulling out all sorts of audio from 3 years ago.
Ursula, have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No.
There's 7 seasons. The 7th season was yesterday. It doesn't matter where you start. Just go watch an episode.
Okay.
It is phenomenal. Like, for real. Like, it doesn't matter the order. They're all individually.
Oh, good. So I can just jump in.
Yeah, you can just jump in.
Okay,
It
I like
doesn't
that.
matter.
I like that.
All right, what are we doing next, Ursula?
Okay, remember? Okay, you're closer to retirement age now that you've turned 49.
Okay.
But the goalpost might be changed. A bunch of people, including former Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, says, you know what? I think a lot of Americans will accept if we have to raise the retirement age to keep Social Security afloat. What do you say? Text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Let's do it. This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
KIRO Newsradio delivers the news you can trust.
State is facing a multi-billion-dollar deficit.
Government wants more of your money to build, quote-unquote, affordable housing.
We help you navigate the headlines, providing clarity and context to help you understand how today's events impact your life tomorrow.
The driver pulled out a gun. The officer opened fire, shooting at least one time.
The problem is worse in King County than any other part of the country.
Stay informed. Stay connected with KIRO News Radio.
Attention, community heroes. We have a mission to improve food security 1 hour at a time. It's the birthday boy, G. Scott here. Please join me, Safeway and Albertsons, by participating in the Nourishing Neighbors Million Hour Volunteer Rally to improve food security by donating your time and skills. We have set a goal of 1 million volunteer hours by caring people like you. Support your local food banks by volunteering to host a food drive or fundraiser so that they can better serve your community in need. Safeway and Albertsons have made it easy to learn how and where you can help at their website. On top of that, you can potentially free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your hunger relief agency of choice. So to learn more, find volunteer opportunities and log your hours, visit albertsons.com/volunteer. Just a bit of time by a lot of great people gets us closer to creating food security communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song.
I love these nachos.
I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy.
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down. I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMensHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMensHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMensHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
People matter isn't just a saying at Harnish Auto Family. It's how they do business. For over 40 years, they've built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. Visit harnishautofamily.com to find your next car. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The city of Snoqualmie says it has fired its police chief following an investigation. Chief Brian Lynch was placed on administrative leave in February. Few details, but in a social media post, the city says it is, quote, committed to maintaining a workplace free from discrimination and harassment. A new report is out after a 2-year investigation into Seattle City Lights, specifically the crews who maintain the city's underground electrical network. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao reports.
And I actually sifted through all 20 pages. Like I said, there's a lot, but I was able to break it down into 3 of the biggest complaints from employees who spoke out. And they mentioned drinking, misogyny, and pornography all on the job.
The problem spanned more than a decade. In response, the utility says it terminated 5 employees, suspended 7, given 9 of them warnings, and has increased training for others. REI is saying it's sorry for endorsing Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior. Earlier this year, the Seattle-based retailer signed a letter of support for the former governor from North Dakota. In a video posted to social media this week, company CEO Mary Beth Lawton said,
"Signing that letter was a mistake. The actions that the administration has taken on public lands are completely at odds with the long-standing values of REI."
There are staffing shortages at the Forest Service, hiking trails have shut down, and the Department of Agriculture is allowing timber harvests on up to 59% of national forest lands. China ups the ante in the trade war, the latest from CBS's Anna Corin.
China continues to be defiant in the face of even higher tariffs, describing U.S. actions as a joke, while raising the level of its own tariffs to 125%, effectively ending trade between the world's 2 largest economies.
This comes after President Trump raised U.S. tariffs on China to 145%. Kent-based Blue Origin is going to launch an all-female crew, including CBS's Gayle King, into space on Monday.
I'm looking forward to just floating in space and just seeing what that feels like and what that looks like. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to, that and looking out the window.
King is already in Texas for the big event. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 568 points, NASDAQ ahead 274. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Kent, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 northbound near State Route 516. You're slow to Star Lake, but I'm not seeing a significant impact on travel times just yet. Pothole repair is finished near JBLM. All lanes are open on northbound I-5 at the Stillicum DuPont Road, but you're still backed up into Lacey, and your travel time, Olympia to Tacoma, is 70 minutes. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly cloudy skies today with highs in the mid-50s. It is 50 right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy birthday to Gee. The text messages and the emails keep coming in, wishing you a very happy birthday. And as you get 1 year older now, you're seeing Social Security and the whole idea of retirement a little bit larger these days, I'm going to guess. And people are worried about Social Security. Are there going to be cuts? Will staff firings from DOGE actually impact service? And if you're younger, is it even going to be around when it's time for you to collect? Now, former Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, was speaking to a CNN panel, and he says that Americans will accept DOGE changes, including a proposal to raise the retirement age to keep Social Security solvent.
You can't
do what Elon is saying he's doing without touching the programs that American people don't want to get touched. And yet,
no, Congress doesn't want them to get touched. Americans will accept it.
Americans will accept
Absolutely.
Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security.
Some adjustments? Absolutely.
What are those adjustments, though? Then that's the second part. What are those adjustments?
Let's move the retirement age. Just moving the retirement. 62
that's
or 64, whatever it is. That's
It's
insane.
67, just for the
No
record.
young person thinks that retirement should be in the mid 60s or 67. No young people.
I mean, it was
people think
raised.
should be
Well, I like to think I'm young. People, you can't do what Elon is saying he's doing without touching the programs that American people don't want to get touched.
That
And
sounds
yet,
like
Congress doesn't want them to get touched.
A repeat. Okay, so you made the point twice. What do you think?
So
would Americans be willing to accept? I mean, full social security, the 67.
Yeah.
I mean, the earlier you collect, and I mean, there's some changes going into effect this year. I mean, it keeps changing. It feels like, but the younger you collect, obviously, the lesser the benefit. So it behooves you to wait as long as you can. Have you even thought that far ahead, like how old you want to be when you retire?
Yes, and my plan is that I don't want to retire per se not working, because
you want to work the rest of your life.
I do, because I don't like what I've seen on people who, when they go to retire after working for a long time. I got, I know some stories, or my dad who was getting ready to be done in March, but he passed away in February. You know what I mean? Okay, so
that you think retiring ages you much more quickly,
yes.
or that
Yes.
you have more health
Yeah.
issues,
Yeah.
or get depressed if you're not working.
So I'm going to say something that probably will make some turn the radio off.
We don't want that.
All right, here we go. I think that there should be levels to retirement. For an example, I think that someone like me in my profession, or if you're tech, or if you are, white collar jobs or business, I think those levels, I think that your retirement age should be higher, older than someone in like construction, someone who has hard jobs, physical jobs, right? I think that those people should be able to retire early. So you go tiers, like, hey, you've been doing this
Based on your profession.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, no,
I you guys think I'm crazy, but okay, let me just say this. I think that someone going out every day, working for, and whatever it is, construction or recycle or whatever the case, working hard every day in the trenches, has it a lot harder than me coming in here turning on a microphone. I would be okay with that person having 60, 65 years old, and then someone like me, tech and all that, 70 years old.
Okay, would you feel the same, though, knowing that you're in an industry where today you could have a job turning on the mic, tomorrow you might have a box and no job at all?
But check this out. Guarantee you, if I'm not working in this area, in this job right here, I'm not going to construction. I'm not going to hard labor.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I think what's unfair about increasing the age of retirement is that there are jobs that physically people cannot do anymore. And you talk about those labor-intensive jobs where physically you can't keep working until you're 68 or 70 doing the same thing. I mean, it wouldn't be good for you, and it wouldn't be good for the company. So that all makes sense. But I want to read some of the text messages because, like Betty says, I say no on making Social Security at an older age. Some people have jobs that are labor intensive. We just talked about that. Ellen in Edgewood says, of course they're going to raise it. I'm right on the cusp of the golden age, and they're going to move the end zone on me. Yes, I'm taking it personally. And then there are others who say, it would, like Richard, it would be okay to slightly raise the retirement age if they also raise the maximum income level that you have to pay Social Security taxes on.
See, that's where it needs to go, because if we raise the income cap, so anything over $176,000 this year, you don't pay taxes on. You also can't get a benefit check above like $3,800. But let's be honest, the people that are making $176,000 plus a year, they're probably going to be okay with their own retirement accounts and making it on their own. People who make less than that are going to have a significantly harder time. If we raise the cap, that would take care of 73% of the deficit Social Security is facing. And I think it's just it's a false It's like a false dilemma. Like, oh gosh, there's no money. Let's make people work longer. The bottom 10% of men in America, economically, live 15 years shorter than the top 10% who are going to be able to retire at any time. It's 10 years for women.
Now, thank you for bringing up that point. 202 also said, rather than raise retirement age, raise the earnings cap on contributions, raise it to $250,000. That would affect about 5% of the households. I want to point out a few other things that, of course, you can maximize your benefits the longer you delay, but only about 4% of Americans actually wait until they're 70 to claim the maximum Social Security benefit. That's according to what is going on today. The other thing to recognize is that for those people who are on the lower income levels, I mean, Social Security, that is your source of income. You don't have that retirement savings, et cetera.
You know what scares me?
We are also living a lot longer.
You know what scares me is that sometimes when we say things like when I threw out that, hey, I wanted to have based on profession, those being able to retire earlier than some of those. When I bring that up, you just cringe. People cringe at that idea, right? Because
it would be a bureaucratic nightmare to deal with, for one thing.
I mean, sure. So what's my blanket answer? My blanket answer is right now today, raise the minimum age to 70 years old. That's my answer today. I'm standing on that. Because why?
So you can't retire fully until...
Yes.
Yeah, instead of starting at 62, you want to start at 70?
The reason why I'm doing it... Okay. Well, I'm doing this because I'm thinking about those coming behind us. And we all can agree that we are living longer. We can all agree that a 62-year-old today is way healthier than a 62-year-old 50 years ago. So if we can admit that, so what's the problem then? I don't get it. If we can admit that someone doing construction, their body at 60 is going to be different than my body at 60 because of what I do for a living. We got to take those things into consideration.
I mean, and there are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, but it's also not just the actual profession. I mean, what about your mental acuity? I mean, there's so many other things that can happen.
Well,
what if you have a disease? What
workers.
if you have, exactly. I mean, there's so many other factors beyond what profession you're in.
I think the majority of us are locked into doing things the same.
Yeah, well, for one thing, we do need to think differently to keep it solvent, for sure.
I don't think we want to. I think everybody wants to keep it the same. I think it would be gross for people to really come out and be like, yeah, make the retirement age 70. Oh, wait, did you say you or no against that, right? You want to keep the retirement age the same, lower, or higher? Where you at?
I would like to, I could see increasing it by a couple of years. 70?
Okay, so
a lot can happen between 65 and 70.
What age? What age? So
I would go with 65 or 67.
67.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm 3 years off.
Which is very. There's a lot. Again, you're further away from it. A lot can happen in those 3 to 5 years.
What? I mean, look, I'm just making an answer. I'm just telling you. I just want it to be here. Yeah, a lot can happen.
Yeah.
Gee Ursula next.
Hi, John Curley here. It's a great time to upgrade with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Take advantage of local utility rebates up to $5,000 off on heat pumps. And Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Get both heating and cooling with an ultra-efficient heat pump in one unit. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. The perfect time to get a saltwater hot spring spa is here. During our Splash into Spring event, you'll save up to $1,500 on your new tub and enjoy 5 years interest-free financing. Doesn't a daily soak with terrific jets sound like a great escape? You'll be on your way to a healthier you in no time. Don't delay. Ends April 13th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's
something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at TurboTax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at TurboTax.com/free.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
A little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
At Kia of Everett, leasing your new Kia is simple, easy, and fun. Now through April 30th, lease a 2025 Kia Niro EV Wind for just $69 a month for 24 months, with $39.99 due at signing.
Lease payment on approved credit with Kia Finance America, plus tax. After $9,500 Kia Finance America, 24-month lease cash, and Kia of Everett discount of $32.71. Quoted payment is before monthly sales tax and fees. Select vehicles only, subject to prior sale. See dealer for full details.
The best drive you'll ever take is to Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
It's the Gee and Ursula Show. Just want you guys to know that I can't believe we waited till 11:30 to talk about that topic because, woo-wee, this Social Security topic, Ursula, it is buzzing, cousin.
I know.
I mean, You want to start us off with these text messages? Oh, my goodness.
Well, the 253 said, I say get rid of Social Security and let us invest our own money. I'm tired of it getting stolen from us. And then there were others who were talking about, you can't change the goalpost now because, they bring up, it's not just physical labor that might be difficult. What if someone has had cancer? Like one of our listeners said, she had cancer twice.
Ellen in Edgewood says, I hear you, G, but this year alone, I have lost 5 friends in their 60s. Full disclosure. These friends and I are military. I served for 31 years. The work we did was labor intensive, and we worked with many caustic chemicals. So talked about the military pension not being as lucrative as they think. I'm 70 years old, maybe too late, and I've also had 2 cancers already. By the way, there's a lot of people that's texting in that like my idea about the tiers on professions.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just being generous because it's your birthday.
Probably
I
so.
love you.
Probably
Just
so.
joking.
Probably so.
Okay, on rent control, 206 says there might be more people taking advantage of landlords, but landlords are taking advantage of more people.
JLV in Puyallup says, if a landlord can't afford a mortgage on their house they are renting out without the rent, then they should not own that house. Yeah, squatters are a problem, but most landlords are not in the squatter situation G is talking about. Loads more tenants suffer from terrible landlords. Landlord is not a career. This isn't the Middle Ages. Agree with Chef 100%.
I did not put that in there.
Chef made sure to put that in. Mike in Stanwood says, we lost 14 months rental income due to one tenant. They stopped paying rent for 2 months. After multiple verbal promises to pay up, we moved to eviction. It took an additional 6 months to get them out. Now, I want first, last, damage, and background checks, both criminal and financial. That was a topic that got a ton of response.
Yeah, they got me going. On Seattle City Lights and sexual harassment in the workplace, our good friend Nikki in the 253 says, my friend is in the marine engineering business that has been explaining how truly bad the environment and blatant disrespect and harassment on women is in her industry. What she goes through versus her husband is beyond disgusting, misogynistic, and hypocritical. Since Donald Trump's attack on DEI, it's only flamed this behavior on overdrive because they believe that their archaic mentality and behavior is in the right.
And then Beth says, ugh, I hate to break it to y'all, but the Me Too movement barely put a dent in this sort of inexcusable workplace behavior. Every woman I know has stories about what is currently going on in their offices, public and private, which if I could just put a plea out there for you, especially if you are a man and you see this going on, please report it. Don't stand by idly. Please report it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Ursula, let's go. Let's get your words to live by.
I'm going to quote Oprah Winfrey because it is your birthday, and I love this quote for you.
Okay.
The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. And as we celebrate you, I just want to thank you for being who you are. I've enjoyed our time together. I consider you a good friend as well as a colleague. And I hope you have the happiest of birthday weeks, months, and a year.
Thanks, Ursula. By the way, Jeff and Bonnie Lake, I don't know if Jeff and Bonnie Lake wants us to go another 5 years.
Did you see that?
You see that text?
He said, he told us that the people behind us, the chefs of the world, don't want to see us working another 5 years. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, I'm on just Jeff and Bonnie Lake. I'm on my way to the gym now, so I can keep working. What do you got there, brother Nick?
I think I need to stop and take a breath after this week, seeing roller coasters in the market and the news we seek. So what a perfect time to find excuses for some joy as we celebrate G's birthday with balloons and tiara toys.
It's a celebration.
But of course, to hold off on a gift of meatball snacks, since we heard from our friend Ursula, you'll have surprise attacks.
We know you have a shy bowel.
Don't be starting a line in the bathroom again. All right, buddy.
I ain't as sexy as I used to be. You know what I mean?
Meatballs.
Oh, man.
Happy 49th, G.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys. It's been a great birthday. It really has. Thank you, Ursula, for everything you always do. Sophia, it's been awesome having you with us. Seriously, thank you. Chef, appreciate you, brother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, too.
Hey, tell Alice we appreciate it. Thank you. And make sure Alice sees that video of me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Brother Nick, have a good one, man.
Happy birthday, man, and enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, tonight, Ursula, I'm going to the Mariners game for my birthday. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go. Lily and I will be in there. If you guys are in attendance, come say. I'll say hi to you. All right. The Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. We appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right.
Here it comes, the second huge online equipment auction of the year. Produced by the James G. Murphy Company. Bidding is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Wednesday the 17th. Over 800 items are on the block, including heavy equipment, trucks, and logging gear, including a 2016 Link-Belt 210 XT TLN log loader, a 2014 CAT 320 DFM log loader, and a 2014 Komatsu 931.1 forwarder. If you're looking for construction equipment, we got 16 excavators, 5 wheel loaders, 4 backhoes, and 2 pavers. Plus, there's a great selection of 12 late model dump trucks, including 5 Peterbilt 367s from model year 2013 to 2020. Check out all this gear in person during inspection days, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday, April 16th at our Marysville location. Bidding is underway now. For pictures and all details, check out murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news.
A minimum wage increase proposal is moving forward in unincorporated King County.
KIRO News Radio.
We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage expert. Steve, mortgage rates have been dropping this year. How could that help seniors struggling to stay in their homes?
Lower mortgage rates means seniors can now get more money from their equity with a reverse mortgage. You can pay off your existing mortgage